very excited. Got a package. Archer and Olive. They just came out with a new Halloween collection, and so here's the story. I use Archer and Olive this year. Was this the first year? This is the first year I used Archer and Olive notebooks for my reading journal. Thinking that getting a reading journal of this size would last me the whole year. It did not. Because as the years go by, my reading journal and what I put into it kind of evolves. And I think I also just have read more books this year than last year. So I'm almost out of pages. And I'm like, we still have October, November, and December to go. So when Archer and Olive came out with their Halloween line, I said, let me get one of those so that I can for sure have enough to document all of my books. So here is the cover. I got the 8x8, and I got, oh wow. I mean, all three of them, all three options were beautiful, but the one I ended up going with was the coiled key with the snake on the front. Very Reputation era. Yes. It has this kind of, linen texture, vegan leather cover. It has a little decoration on the spine there, and it has this sort of, I forget, I think this is called deckled. Is it called deckled edges when the edges, the paper edging is kind of raggedy, textured to be like that. I really like using the 8x8. It has this cool foil coiled key thing on the inside. And then we have our dot grid. So what I'm planning to do is I decided that this year I was going to really invest. Archer and Olive notebooks are a little bit of an investment, but they're so worth it because there's so much care and craft and quality and aesthetics that go into their notebooks. They're also so I use all different kinds of pens and inks when I write, and these pages are thick enough that there's no bleed through. And I really like the dot grid for my reading journal because it allows me to set up the different spreads, because you can just, do your drawings and use your ruler to connect everything. And so what I'm planning to do with this one is going to be October through December. And because my old notebook goes January through September. And so there's probably going to be some pages left over with this one, unless I just go gangbusters like the last 3 months of the year and read a lot more books than I've been reading. But the other thing I plan to do with this is kind of use the remaining pages to sort of plan out and sketch out and play with the spreads that I want to do for next year, because I want to be a little bit more strategic. Oh, I forgot to show, it also has the two placeholders here, and one of them has the little ampersand trinket on the end. I use both of these because usually one of these will be the placeholder for the calendar for that month, and then the other one will be a placeholder for what book I'm currently reading. And so what I'm planning to do with the remaining pages is sort of play around with and sketch out different ideas for spreads for next year, because I want to be more strategic, and I want to make sure that I'm doing a good mix every month. I want to make sure that I'm reading a book, that at least one, preferably more, but at least one book a month, one romance book that's by a Black author. I want to try to read also each month a book that's pretty recent, so I'm keeping up with current books. I tend to always be catching up. So I tend to always be catching up, like reading books that are from like a year or two ago, but I want to try to make sure that I'm at least kind of keeping current and reading at least one book a month that's come out in the last, 2 or 3 months. I also want to make sure that I'm keeping up with reading books that are comps to my manuscript, that I do need to keep up with books that are comps to my current finished manuscript, as well as keep up with books that are similar to the one I'm currently writing. So that's 4 different kind of, I guess, types of books I want to keep up on. So I want to have a list of them and make sure I'm checking off one of those types of books for each month. And then I also want to read each month, hopefully, a book that's completely outside of my genre, that's just for fun, like a thriller or like a literary mystery noir, like S.A. Cosby or Walter Mosley or Attica Locke, or horror. That's the other one. I'm also really getting into my horror bag, particularly black horror, like Tananarive Due, and there's a couple others. L.S. Stratton is another one. She's more thriller, but she's doing a little bit more cross-genre, but in the thriller / kind of gothic horror realm. So anyway, all that to say, that's what I'm going to do with the remaining pages, is really just play around with different spreads to keep track of the different categories of books that I really need to keep up on throughout the year for my career, and just to make sure that I am very well read. Because the more books you read and the more you see the really cool things that other people are doing, the better, the more ideas that you get, and the more it just kind of stimulates your creativity, I think. So, listen, with the Archer and Olive Halloween line, there were so many things I wanted to get, but I'm like, rein it in, girl, rein it in. So I just got the one book, the one thing that I absolutely knew that I needed. I still have plenty of pens, I still have plenty of washi tape. I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to do for my tote bag situation. That's like a whole decision-making process that needs to go into that. But I knew that I wanted to get another reading journal. And oh boy, there were so many options, but wow, I really love that coiled key design with the key and the snake wrapping around it. I think that's really cool. And this texture is amazing. It's kind of buttery or velvety because it is like a vegan leather, but it has a linen texture as well. And then a lot of this design is like either raised or recessed. So there's like some tensile things happening there. Anyway, that's it for my Archer and Olive package.